Yeah, this is a public meeting, so we have to broadcast it. It's live streamed and recorded.
All right.
All right. We're ready and live. It's Tuesday, July 19th. It is 6:32 p.m. I'd like to call the order a meeting of the Coventry Land Trust. And first thing is to determine, the meeting was posted in accordance with open meeting rules. And now we need to determine the quorum, so I will do a roll call. Jack Donovan.
Here.
Dennis Green.
Yeah.
Linda Brennan.
Here.
Lynn Carlson.
Here.
Glenn Underwood. Here. Joyce and Peretta and Rory Carmody are absent, although we may be joining us because I haven't heard from them. And we have John Studley from the planning department, and we have two guests tonight. And if you want to introduce yourselves.
My name is Shannon, Brawley. I'm the executive director of the Rhode Island Nursery and Landscape Association. Thank you for having this.
Mason Billings, the resource or social service coordinator for the Rhode Nursery and Landscape Association.
Okay. John, could you give us evacuation instructions?
Sure. So if you head out of either of these doors and head to the left, that'll be the quickest way out of the building.
Hey, we'll do a couple technical things and then we'll jump on our agenda to move up. So our guests we don't have to stay through all of our business. So the approval of the minutes. I know they were just distributed today. Did everyone get a chance to read them?
Okay, put once over. Nothing.
Yeah, I have no issues either. Put once over. All right, do I hear a motion to accept the minutes as printed? Made by Dennis Green. Motions, do I hear a second? Seconded by Linda Brennan. Any further discussion on the minutes of the June 21st, 2022 meeting? With none being said, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? So voted. Okay, unanimous. With everyone's permission, I'd like to jump to section 7.51 on our agenda. Our guests are here. Rory, I was hoping Rory would be here to champion this, but we can start anyway. So why don't you guys take it away and talk about what you guys are working on and what we can partnership with.
Yeah, so the Rhode Island Nursery and Landscape Association is a trade 501c6 trade association, and we advocate on behalf of the agriculture and plant-based industry here in the state of Rhode Island. It's a $2.5 billion industry and growing. And the number one issue facing the industry is the lack of young people coming in. And so, and we are facing some of the biggest issues as a coastal state, from climate change to actually feeding our community. So, and we have a huge aging demographic within the industry itself. And so we set out to address this issue, which is getting young people to come in, and we have amazing jobs. Actually, we have meaningful jobs. We have jobs that pay well, and so we were fortunate enough to receive a Real Jobs partnership grant, which and then a variety of other grants as well, which has allowed us to really take an ecosystem approach to education and training and workforce development within the industry. And so we started with defining with businesses, our member businesses, defining what the skills and knowledge they needed to be successful. And so we started with a registered apprenticeship program, and it was success. It started to take off. And so we now call this program that Lynn started Growing Futures. I don't know, do you want me to go further into that, or do you wanna?
No, I mean, I can talk about the career catalyst unless you want to talk about apprenticeship first.
Yeah, so registered apprenticeship really has helped us to dive in. So we have a beginning level registered apprenticeship program. I think it's really this earn while you learn model. And then we have a mid-level career. So it's really showing people how they can grow within the industry, grow within a business. We have a lot of education and outside education and training that registered apprentices are required to have. So we're really growing them as professionals. It's really the beauty of registered apprenticeship is also that it is it's a post-secondary industry, recognized certification basically, and built into that are also the industry certifications. And so when I say ecosystem approach, we dug down deep to figure out what businesses needed, and we're working with them and helping them to grow their capacities as small businesses in the state. And when I say, it's a variety of businesses, from arborists to stonemasons to fine gardeners to landscape construction. The variety and the opportunity is enormous. And they're small companies. It could be small, like 3 people in a company, to global, like Bartlett Tree, a global international company. So we have a variety of sizes of companies, opportunities for young people. And then we've also, I think the biggest issue was, where are people going to come from? Where are we going to, and so we started a pre-apprenticeship program. And I'll let Mason talk about that in a little bit, but that's what we call our Growing Futures career catalyst. And this might interest you folks as well. But in the meantime, we've also developed a 2-year degree at the Community College of Rhode Island. It's called Environmental Sustainability and Management. It's the first interdisciplinary degree at CCRI between business and biology. And that it just got unveiled, actually. It's very exciting. And so it just launched, and we'll take you to that website as well. But the beauty of that degree is registered apprenticeship actually dovetails into that. We will have our industry Rhode Island Certified Horticulturalist Program recognized for credit as well. So the degree will also recognize on the job experience. And so we're working really closely with CCRI, and the beauty of that degree now, we worked as a team, so a magnificent team of people where the University of Rhode Island's faculty, deans, admissions, guidance counselors, workforce people, CCRI's counterparts, we all came together with the Rhode Island Food Policy Council and RINLA industry had a voice at the table as well. And so we have clear transfer agreements in place, which were never in place, between this degree and the College of Environmental and Life Sciences. So anyone can transfer there as a junior, to plant sciences or sustainable agriculture or resource economics, if that's the choice they want. So it was a big, heavy lift, but we did it in 2 years, and we're really proud of it.
And now we're actively trying to build up scholarships.
Yes, yeah,
To
so-
access that education as well.
Yeah, so we're working on that. Yeah, we're working on that now. But I'm going to turn it over to Mason.
I'm going to excuse 1 second. I want to reflect that Rory Connolly joined us at 6:39 p.m.
My apologies, traffic, and I could not get a
I love how they
signal to
just brought it
call.
in.
Okay.
Happy to see you.
You should sit in the corner.
We're happy to see you.
Good to see you.
Uh,
So a piece of this, what we're doing is, getting new folks into the industry, training them. That kind of falls back on the training programs that we've been starting. They initially started as just prior screenings to individuals who are interested and connecting them to employers. And then it grew into boot camps, and then grew into this 5-week-long program that we actually host now in the winter. So it's like off season for our industry, or the majority of our industry, where folks, we have a partnership with DEM down in Arcadia Forest in Exeter. Down, 'cause I'm thinking, well, that's the middle of the state. Up in Exeter, or over in Exeter, where we've had multiple cohorts so far. We've had 2 years running this training. The first year was 60 individuals. The second year has been 30 individuals, where they come out and they work in crews. Crew leaders are handpicked as part of our registered apprenticeship program from jobs in the industry. They work alongside us, our team, as well as Jeff Olive, who runs DEM, or runs the forest down there as part of DEM, where they basically get kind of sent in all directions of the forest to do trail trimming and learn kind of the basics of working outside. It's cold, it's winter. We supply people with gear, everything. We pulled funds in to basically fund the program. Everything's pulled in through grants. We also have enough funding to get people down there through transportation. So we bring them down in lifts, we bring them back in taxis. And we teach them kind of a variety of everything from like introduction to horticulture, math and science for the industry. They learn communication and conflict resolution, because we found that was kind of a missing link as well with employers, where there was a lot of communication breakdown between worker and employer. So that was kind of a huge need. So we had that workshop as well.
So the beauty of the program is it's really hands-on in Arcadia. We've actually, over the last 2 years, cleaned up over 30 miles of trail in those, well, I guess it was like 10 weeks, over 10 weeks, which has been like surpassed a lot of, I think it equals 1 full-time person for 1 year and 2 part-time people. So that is like the gift back to actually Rhode Islanders. We're helping to rebuild the trails and clear fire roads. We've actually helped to build bridges, repair the bridges, but also given back to the state agency in time and value that way through our program. But I think the beauty of it is also it's hybrid education. It's not only the hands-on, but it's also this online education that Mason was talking about, where they really learn about the first entree into what is horticulture. What is the industry? What does the industry have to offer? How do you articulate the value of who you are to an employer? And then vice versa, we actually work with the employer to actually articulate the value of what they have to offer as a business. And it culminates at the end with an online job fair. It's like a speed dating, really quick,
Yeah.
and these young people are getting offers like right and left. I don't even, like how many, I think they did 136 interviews this past year.
Yeah. I think that's around like under 30, yeah.
Yeah, 130 interviews, 35 companies. We placed folks, they're now actually going into registered apprenticeship programs. So we've been pretty successful. I wish I had the flyers with the numbers and all, but
Well, I think the majority of folks who attended the job fair within the 2 weeks following job fair, then we actually post to our job board and it's kind of all open-ended from there. The majority already had job offers and secured jobs. So I mean, we do a lot of work negotiating different offers as well, which is also a really great learning experience for them.
Now, these kids, or I shouldn't say kids, these are
Young
people young adults, right out
All
of high
ages.
school, or
all ages.
are you doing like even summer programs or are you waiting for them to be?
No,
graduated?
our focus is really on, our industry needs people.
Right.
So I would say right now they're really focusing on adults, 18 up, even older. We have a lot of career changers. I would say COVID, we were experiencing everything that was happening out there. A lot of folks in hospitality, changing careers, principals, highly educated individuals saying enough. I've had enough. I want to make a change. So we had like amazingly skilled individuals, but also really folks that were like, I want to try this, really inexperienced 18-year-olds, right?
Right. We have people still like in college or coming out of college. A
Yeah.
lot of career changers are coming from the food industry, healthcare, and then we have other people, like you mentioned, like very highly educated, people who have taught for years in universities or people from the military, and they just want to change it up.
Yeah.
So that's.
Yeah.
So there's no cap on the age that someone can
No.
participate.
No, as long as you're physically able, and wanna do it, there are so many different opportunities from, physically working outdoors, and to working in somebody's office, or we had folks that were really good at marketing. So, when you're talking about a small business, there's opportunity there as well, right? So they could work doing their marketing and also actually or their books, some folks came in understanding QuickBooks, and were able to do a hybrid job kind of thing. So,
And so, I mean, as, things change and, with COVID, we've seen kind of numbers change of people interested in the program. And now that we're kind of like record highs so far for employment numbers, we're kind of foreshadowing maybe what that would look like. So which is the reason why I've reached out to a lot of different agencies too, working on trying to create relationships and build pipelines around like special populations. So we've done work to investigate whether we can make something work with folks with disabilities, folks re-entering, so justice involved folks. We've had conversations with folks who are speakers other than English, as well as immigrants and refugees. So, I mean, there's definitely interest. We just have to figure out what program model fits and, if, how we can kind of make it work for everyone, make this the most accessible in the long run. So some, populations, I think, speak more loudly right now versus others.
yeah, and then we have been working with high schools, career and technical high schools. Before COVID, we actually had a youth apprenticeship program where we knew that high school students were searching and didn't necessarily know where they wanted to go, but they kind of knew they wanted to do agriculture or they wanted to work at a garden center. So we basically helped rotate them through a company that had different divisions. And then we were just about to place, these were Charahoe high school students. We were just about to place them into like separate them. We had them in as a cohort and separate them into different areas of interest. One young guy was going to UC Davis and wanted to learn about tissue culturing. And so we were going to send him to a company to do that because that was what he was going to study at Davis. And then COVID happened. And so we put that on hold because the governor at the time was like, we need help. We need to put people back to work. And we were working outside. So we rose to the occasion by creating our Career Catalyst, and we feel like there's an opportunity there. And so hence we're here to just share that with you and to better understand what you all do and what your needs might be. And
I think that our needs are the same challenge of finding the people that want to do this kind of stuff. And we have lots of opportunities that we've been looking for, and it always comes down that, getting the additional help and letting people know that we're here and that there is, if properly set up, we could have a very good program in the town of Coventry with the properties that we own. And we own quite a few properties that we're trying to get into shape and probably need a lot more attention than what the group at the table here can do on our own. And that's, I know Rory's been pushing a lot of outreach avenues and stuff to bring in the tie us together sort of thing, because we have this great resource, but it's not being utilized as well as it could because we haven't made all the connections to get the right pieces moving. We've now got some mapping going on, which is
that's great.
some a big new thing for us. So getting the other side of it, of the trails and what should be done with some of the
How
properties.
many properties do you have? And
Yeah,
what are
what's
they?
the
Like,
resource?
yeah, what is the resource there?
I mean, I've heard about lots.
Our historian,
Offhand, I'm pretty sure like maybe, I would say 12. It sounds a low number, but the acreage is large.
Yeah.
Okay, you know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
So the latest one we just purchased was a Sullivan property. And we had an introduction to Coventry and to the public. And we already have one trail already made that links to another property right next to it, the Bolton property, which has 3 trails.
Oh, wow.
And that's, how many acres is that, John? I don't know. It's probably over 100 acres.
Is
okay?
it forested acres?
Yes.
It's
Yep.
all forested.
And this is like public access?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Some of it abuts the greenway too, so you can get,
Oh,
On the
right.
Bolton
Yeah,
property, if
yeah,
you use the
yeah,
greenway,
yeah.
there's an entrance
Mhm.
on that you can get to the Bolton property.
Mhm.
So you can walk all the way, through that's central Coventry to the other side,
Mm.
Wow.
But the thing is, like Glenn was mentioning, maintaining the trails, there's a handful of us here.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah.
and understanding what we should be doing, because we're not all skilled at some of the things. Like we've got some areas where on the steep trail, Janice Sullivan going up
Oh,
the hill, we get erosion and things, and certain things need to be done differently, but you have to know
What to
a
do.
little bit about what is the best way to
So that's
handle
what
that
we've
sort of
been
situation.
doing with Arcadia. It's basically the erosion and, capturing the water where it was falling, right? And so that's what they were learning how to do. It's
And
just
it's
that.
right, and I mean, it's helpful because we have, like, we can bring crew leaders in from, jobs.
you
that
can
we
bring her
already-
out.
Crew leaders.
So we have.
Did you
so-
say crew? I'm a little.
Crew
Crew
leaders.
leaders?
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
so the beauty of this program is, we have some industries were seasonal, right? And so these folks would get laid off, these crew leaders would get laid off, these, skilled would get laid off. And so we're actually putting them to work. And they're actually training our
Next
crews,
generation.
like our next generation, right? And so these young people are highly skilled.
Give them a job already.
Well, that's what I was thinking.
No, I'm sorry.
Yeah, no,
I'm
I
not
know.
gonna say that.
We've got a
So,
whole bunch of.
so, and we have, so there's also opportunity, we have members that, I don't, they-
I mean, how many guys or women or got people to approve?
so we had, so in the
And do you
first
break the
round.
crews up based on some kind of?
So in the
Got
first,
numbers.
yeah,
sorry, what?
no, hold on. So in the first career catalyst, we had 64 people, but it was 2 trainings of 30, 32. And so then they were broken down into crews of, because of COVID, we broke them down into groups of 5 with a crew leader, basically. And then this past year, and they were 4-week trainings with the first one. This past year, we decided, no, let's do it a 5-week program, 40 people. And then we did breaking it out into 5 groups of 5 with a crew leader overseeing them. And so that's how we did it. And it's, some of this isn't for everyone. So the first week, there's people that drop
Everybody
out.
drops out.
But I think that once these individuals get through this program, you have a good candidate, and then, I think the beauty of serving as a bridge for individuals who are laid off in the industry is a great one. And it also builds confidence for them as supervisors. So we're doing that as well, right? So we're giving them separate training in how to manage their crews, how to communicate with these crews, how to address conflict conflict, so we're giving them training as well. So
And they're evaluating crew members too. And then what we've seen when they go back to their job sites, a lot of them are like shoo-ins for raises and promotions.
yeah, it's
They're
just
working
like
with
this
them with us.
beautiful circular thing that's happening. And I don't know, just people come out of the whole thing really.
But they miss it.
They like,
And
it's
people-
like pretty
People
great.
still go to Jeffrey and
Yeah.
like volunteer. after,
Yeah,
and
they
that's
actually come
it's a good
back.
thing.
To Arcadia, and they love Jeff. And I think the beauty of what we did was to model it after the Conservation Corps. And Arcadia is actually a site of the Conservation Corps. And so at its core, what we were doing was sort of trying to bring that into the 21st century. What does that mean? And then how, as we grow this program, what would that look like?
That was an FDR program, correct?
Yes, it was. Yes, it was. My grandfather actually
I'm
was
just-
on the Conservation Corps during the Depression. Yes.
One of my relatives passed away, but they remember FDR.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was. Yeah. But I think so so that's part of what we've done. And I know that again, it feels like this community happening, and I feel like we're giving back to our community. I think that during COVID, everyone realized the beauty and the value of where we live in this state of Rhode Island and the variety of landscapes. And I'm passionate about taking care of where we live. And I think that's part of what we're trying to teach our people is the value of good stewardship, that our businesses do that. You can feed people, you can take care of our forests, you can take care of our coastal properties, and so I think that's kind of, and the beauty is we're working with Lauren Spears at the Tillamook Museum. Yeah, so she's bringing in traditional ecological knowledge into sort of this Western approach as well. So, yeah.
The land trust, what we can offer are volunteer opportunities, okay? So we don't have any money to,
That was my next question.
yeah, but we have work to offer, not money, but work. So is that a good fit for what you have? Or, I mean, can you offer us volunteers or?
So I think we'd have to, as a team, step back. I'd love to get a map. I'd love to see your like what your properties are and what your projects are. I think as a team, you'd have to think about, is it the career catalyst that is the right approach? Is it, our registered apprentices? We would like to build, we're trying to build in certifications such as invasive
removal.
invasive removal certifications and adding in a hands-on component there, or green infrastructure piece. So I think it's something that we could look at together.
Right, to see what's in your spaces that maybe we could like tap into to use as like a training for.
Right, as an apprentice, if you do an apprenticeship,
It's training.
it's training.
It's training,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah,
Yep.
and then the
so-
businesses would see it
Right.
with
So
that
we're,
value too.
yeah, so I think if you're talking about projects like bridges, we can't pay for a bridge, but we would look to you to get the wood or the supplies, or if that is the project, or if it's taking care of erosion, it's the stone, it's the whatever it is that you would need. Again, we'd have to really, right now, we're really committed to Arcadia. And we are looking at working with the Narragansett Bay Reserve as well. Just a different ecosystem. I'm interested in your bogs, like how can we expose people to just different ecosystems within the state of Rhode Island, and what can they learn from that would be great too. So, but again, let's talk about it. Like, let's look at it. We are funded by the state in terms of the career catalyst. And so there are opportunities to learn, hands-on learning.
So you guys provide the money for a student to get hands-on learning, and then if we.
Depending on like the career catalyst, we're paying those individuals
Okay,
to learn.
yeah, okay.
And then with registered apprenticeship, depending on the employer, this is all part of their registered apprenticeship experience as they grow as professionals. So they're getting paid on the job. And then what we would do is how do we work with you to create it into an educational experience? Is it through history that we learn something? Is it through bringing Hope Leeson as a biologist, or someone from the university, and we talk about bogs, and then do some trail building or building a walkway, or whatever attached to that? I don't know. Let's figure it out. Right? Let's talk about it.
I think because we're working with the kids from the high school and the Envirothon, Coventry's
Oh,
taken that. So
mhm.
I was wondering if there's a way to mortgage some Department of Ed funds and DLT funds as well, to do as kind of a special pilot of something, and kind of run like something like that, like we do with our CDS program.
Oh, I
We
see.
could kind of pull it
Yeah.
out of- Yeah.
Yeah, I think if we,
That's interesting.
I think if we could, it wouldn't be this year, but I
Right.
think we could potentially pitch something
DE and
in.
DLT and Rhode could really probably pull something together, especially
Mm-hmm.
focus on youth.
Yeah, if we did, even if we brought in the opportunity for CCR,
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
but let's talk about it.
Yep.
Like the world
There's
is,
potential.
there
I
is
just don't
so
know
much
what- I
potential.
just don't know what it's gonna look like.
We don't know, and I
Yeah.
think that's where we could brainstorm. I think we should just brainstorm it.
Yep.
Well, I haven't heard that phrase in a long time. Brainstorm.
Yeah.
Well, we're pretty creative people here,
Yeah.
like, I would have to
That-
say
that's
that,
Also my turn.
yeah, right, like, that's how we, we sort of,
Yeah.
we see a problem, and, okay, employers, let's talk about this, let's figure this out together. It wasn't us driving it, it was really saying, we recognize there's a situation out there. let's come together and let's try it out. Like, let's see if we can, let's be flexible, you know, and try something. If it works, great. If it doesn't, let's try something else, you know. And so that's kind of how we've been. I have an amazing team of people who thrive in that kind of a setting and care about what they do. I mean, it's the first time as a trade association, we're actually looking at what are the barriers to success for individuals coming into the industry, and what does that mean for employers? You know, like if they can't get to work, how do we find them a car, like, or daycare, you know, or we had
Or
folks,
housing.
or housing. We were during COVID.
Financials,
During COVID,
utilities.
it was a crisis. We were dealing with folks that had no home, but we had really good jobs that could actually help them out of poverty, you know. So it was like bringing Mason on, he was able to help us negotiate and work with the state to actually get like rental assistance, or, you know, help get folks out of a hotel, you know. So it was a
Keep them in the
crazy.
program.
and keep them in the
Get jobs,
program,
and
yeah.
Continue supporting them anyway.
get
And
taxes,
then
yeah.
bringing in
Yeah.
the employer too, because a lot of employers just don't, they learn from all that we're trying to do, because it's new to them too, you know what I mean? So it's not only, you know, making everyone who comes into our program as a trainee aware of just everything, all the support there is out there, it's also making the employers know on their end too, so they can kind of build this network of support and kind of change the workplace
we
culture
had-
as well.
We had an
It's
employer create a job for someone,
Oh, that's good.
you know. It's like, oh, really? Oh, you know, they didn't realize, or, oh, wow, I can give them a bus ticket, you know. It was like really thinking about things differently, you know, and it was sitting and communicating it, you know. So
Or help them save for a car, because we have them too.
yeah, it's been a real learning experience for us. I think for me, my North Star is that I love the industry, I love where I live, and I want to see it taken care of.
Yeah.
And there's opportunity here, you know. And if, you know, you're talking about a generation of folks that want meaning, we have meaning, you know. We have the opportunity to care for where we live, right? And care for one another, right? And so, anyway.
So I think what would probably be appropriate is that we set up a work session, because tonight we've got our regular business that we have to do on Kitch. And that would be dedicated totally to brainstorming, maybe visit, set the work session. So it was set at one or two of the properties, and visit them and let you take a look and say, all right, this is, you know, this area needs this, you know, we can do stuff to make things happen here. This is how it would look, because you're obviously familiar with what you can do, and we're familiar with a couple of properties that we really want to tackle. And then, you know, how would that work? How, you know, again, whereas it was said, we don't have operational funding, but we have funding for purchasing some supplies and various things to put. So if we could target something, you know, a work session, and then say, all right.
And we have member businesses in this area as well, so.
Yeah, that would probably be a reach out too, so.
All the pieces in place.
Yeah. And we could say we got these couple of projects that are both a learning experience, like the erosion, which is always big in the back of my mind.
It's huge.
The invasives, which is big, and we've been talking about invasives for a while here, about not wanting our properties all of a sudden all run over by Japanese knotweed. So I think there's a great opportunity that if we schedule a work session dedicated to looking at the property, one or two focus areas that we really want to move ahead, and I would probably meet Bowden and Janice Sullivan.
What is Bowden? What are they?
So they're in the center part of Coventry, between the Bowden property and the Janice Sullivan, which was our most recent acquisition. There's a couple hundred acres of land that, as they one piece goes right up against Trestle Trail, so it's what we feel is a big tie-in to the center part of Coventry, and it's like our area that we want to keep our trails, want to keep everything pristine, and we need, somebody or guidance on what we should be doing, because we really don't have any true management plans. We don't really have a lot of, we know that there's things that we should be doing, and so
I wonder if you or I would do a management.
they potentially might want to take a look at
Yeah,
the opportunity to use that. I mean, would be a great resource to have somebody, and, we're all enthusiastic to getting the younger generation in the
yeah.
schools
I would
and
suggest
colleges.
maybe that's a good approach too, is to maybe start there, and the mapping, I think, is fantastic. Like Keith.
Yeah.
Are you doing the mapping?
I am.
Are you working with URI or just you're doing it yourself?
No, so, I just joined the land trust like last month.
All right.
I worked at Brown University for
Ah.
several years as the GIS manager.
Oh,
there.
okay,
Wow.
all right.
So, but then I retired and I was like, okay, I need to do something, so.
That's a
I started
gift.
up-
Yes, it is.
Right.
That's an
Right.
amazing gift, and if we could get somebody to do a management plan and then come in, that's a big deal. That's big, and then the history of it, the history of why this place matters. Pretty awesome, man.
Yeah,
Pretty
so I think
awesome.
those are the things that we need to brainstorm and then say, this is the order of things that we should be doing, and let's lay out a timeline and then check off our goals as we complete them. And I think the best thing for us to do, and I'll let Rory, you be our champion on setting up a work session with a tie-in, and then we can schedule it. All of our meetings, like a work session, we just have to advertise it as a public meeting, so anyone's from the public can join us at any of these meetings. But, I think that's the avenue, and then we can have our action items as things that we should be doing. You can guide us in that direction, say, yeah, I'll talk to you, or I get see if you can get a management plan established there, and then we can all work together on making that happen.
Yeah, I would even bring some board members to that meeting.
Yeah.
But I really want to encourage you to go to Growing Futures RI.
So,
That's-
yes, so
I really wanted to
share
see
that.
the
Can you bring it
video.
up? Can-
We have a couple of videos. One actually is the story of place that I think you would like. And I'll have to send you a link to it.
Oh, sounds good.
Growingfutures.org.
Yes.
So it's growingfuturesri.org. And so this kind of is the landing page for everything that we're doing. You hit this button over here, you can see more about our career catalyst and apprenticeship, our pre-apprenticeship program, sorry. So this information will update as, we start recruiting for this year.
Yeah,
Right.
in October, we will start unveiling that. We'll start recruiting.
But the pictures are up from like previous years, just kind of showcases what it's, a day in the life looks like essentially.
It's hard work.
It shows kind of like the topics, the breakdown of like what we get up to. It also talks about, requirements to come into the program. So like, if you are talking to someone, they're interested, you're like, oh yeah, I heard about this. They could just go right here and kind of get more information. And you could always just send them to
Yeah,
us
send
anyway.
them to us if you are. We get a lot of referrals.
Couple people in the healthcare industry.
Yes, I mean, we have
So burnt
actually,
out.
we actually have a young woman who is just, we actually did a video. We're fortunate to be able to tell the story of the value of what we do. And Keisha, and she was in hospice during COVID, and she was like, I can't do this anymore. And so her story is powerful.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, so we're seeing a ton of,
Yeah.
and there's opportunity for folks in the healthcare industry, and so, yeah.
Well,
hospitality
interesting
as well.
opportunity too, because people come in and they meet other people who kind of jumped ship from that industry too, and
It's-
they can kind of
It's incredible,
share
the,
experiences.
yeah, the camaraderie that
Yeah.
comes out of it. It's really
On
beautiful.
the other hand, we don't want to be stealing people out of healthcare.
No,
No.
Just gonna give them a rest.
No,
But sometimes-
you want people to be happy.
And actually, sometimes we have people that actually have come in, went through this program. It was a vital time, like they made money.
Right.
Yeah,
They worked for the industry for a short time and then they went back to, so, but, we don't want to see that, but people make choices like that. And it was a good, and it was like what the Conservation Corps did. It helped people in a really bad time of need.
Great.
So,
so news, the news section kind of categorized, I mean, my internet's a little slow, so it's a little grainy and blurry, so it's not usually. But we've been keeping track of all our apprenticeship events and like twilight meetings with employers. So this is just more information showcasing, what the education piece of our apprenticeship program can look like. So we met on Narrow River,
Yeah, Caitlin
Caitlin
Chafee.
Chafee, kind of walked through, bits of the science behind, coastal restoration, and kind of tied it back into, this is land that we actually share with the public. And so what, complexities kind of rise up from there. And I mean, our apprentices, like you said, I mean, they create like a really important camaraderie and network amongst themselves, and they come up with a lot of really great ideas and interests, and they generate like the most amazing questions, honestly.
Yeah.
So it makes for a really good.
It's
learning
kind of
experience.
gives you hope, like, these are gonna be our future. They are our leaders, they are our future entrepreneurs. So, yeah, it's pretty great.
We also have our job board too on here. But the other two I wanted to show, so this is the CCRI program that just launched. This is the landing page on CCRI, just explaining it, more information about it. So if you go to the catalog. And this is probably an easier one to kind of
It's
get
our
into.
landing.
It's our landing page because it just kind of gives you the reasons why this is important and talks about how it kind of ties into multiple avenues all at once. It talks about where this can take you, how it connects to URI, and just more information will be updating as we progress. The video is editing on our Facebook page.
Yeah, the video, there's a video on, one of our original videos is on the front page of Growing Futures. And you
Of this
can,
one?
and you can go there and watch that one and it will sort of, I don't know, I cry when I see it. But there
Not
it
that
is.
one.
Yeah,
That's the
that
video?
one, that's the
Okay.
video, yeah.
So yeah, I would definitely
That's the
encourage
video
you to
right
check it
there.
out.
Yeah, so, yeah, please, check it out. And then go to Facebook. and
Yeah, a lot of
Instagram,
good media.
Twitter, there's a lot of good social media out there, and it just talks about, challenges facing the industry, different approaches.
Okay, perfect. Well, I certainly appreciate the presentation. I think it gives us, some ideas that we need to think about and put together that work section and just look at the opportunities that we may have that, we have a little synergy to go forward.
Two of the teachers from the marathon, Dr. D, she might participate as well in this type of.
Yeah, if we can get, a connection with our local people too,
Right.
just like that.
That was the previous.
Yeah, Ethan actually sits on our board of directors.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah, perfect.
So that blends the.
So that should be really
Sherburne
hard
Rock
for us.
guy.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay, yeah.
Yeah.
He sits on the Seascape, Jim Wilkinson's a long time.
Yeah, so we have some locals that.
Oh,
Okay, so that's good.
Local people.
Yeah, that, and I think they would be excited too to see that, the opportunity that something close by to them is also being tied in or potentially tied in for assistance, so.
They're hiring signs out.
Yeah,
Yes.
everybody does.
Everybody does.
Exactly.
Challenging.
It's a big challenge.
Yeah.
It really is. Well, thank you.
Yeah,
Thank
thank you.
you.
Thank you.
Yeah, nice to meet you.
Nice.
I really admire your work.
Yeah.
Keep going.
See that, so it's here all the while. Thank you.
All right.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, we'll be in touch.
All right,
Okay,
thank you.
Have a good night.
Thank
Good
you. Good night.
Okay. Good. Potential opportunity. All right, so let's move on to, I'm gonna jump just to get onto the old business property updates, just so we can make sure we cover those. If everyone approves to go to 6.1 Leea Cavanagh. Don, do you have an
Yes.
update?
So at your request, I sent the appraisal report to Ms. Cavanagh, and I haven't heard anything since then. So it could just be a case where she hasn't gotten around to getting back to us, or
Considering it.
yeah. So there could be a couple of different reasons. So I figure I'll reach back out to her, see if there's a status update. And if she's interested, we can chart a course to move forward. If not, then we have our answer. So, but I haven't heard anything since.
Okay. All right, Grassett property.
Yep, with that one, the way we left it off last time, we were just trying to do things the right way and forward the information through the town manager and town clerk to the town council. Our recommendation to them to move this along, and now it's just a deal where we're just trying to work out scheduling. As you might know, the town council was meeting weekly, and that hasn't been the case yet. So we're just trying to
Get to the budget first.
yeah. So with
So it's a WIP,
what's that?
work in process.
Yes.
Okay. All right, any questions on those two items? Obviously, hopefully, once we get through budget week here again, that the council will get freed up and the town manager and all the powers to be, so we can move on that. All right, so next, want to go outreaches, back onto our regular order here, outreaches and avenues to encourage organized volunteers, so we just had a good outreach situation. Any other additional outreach that we need to talk about tonight?
I'm gonna follow up with school starts again with the high school and try to get the right staff on board. See if we can't get projects going with them, especially for the interest days.
Okay. Let's see, land trust website page updates.
With that one, Ccri, who obviously I need to work on that with. He was out for an extended period of time, he got sick, and I haven't been able to follow up with him since he's gotten back. So that's a work in progress.
A important calendar of dates. Any dates coming up that we're going to keep on our radar here, other than Land Trust Day, which is September 17th? Any other things on our calendar of importance? No. Potential properties of interest. Has anyone seen or heard or mentioned? I've browsed, occasionally browsed the internet, and there doesn't seem to be much out there at this point of interest.
On Culvertown Road, were they cleared? Is that just nothing happening there?
Nothing's happening, no,
Okay.
so,
So it was gonna be,
so it was supposed to be, initially, they set forward a proposal for a solar array.
okay.
And that got knocked down, people objected to having that. And so then they were going to go ahead and build houses there. And I don't know I'm telling you this kind of because my husband heard this, so I'm not, so because he's on another committee, he's on, anyway. But at any rate, that when they did perk tests, what they found were broken glass. But there's a bed of broken glass. They think it might have been used as a dumping site.
No.
Really?
Interesting.
So that's interesting, yes.
So that might be a problem.
Yeah, I mean, the most that we know on our end I mean, we've heard plenty of rumors, but officially, there was a notice sent out, I believe it was by DEM themselves, talking about testing that was being done at the site. So that kind of makes sense, that they
Yeah,
were doing some
something
sort of
serious.
testing for some sort of material, like hazardous or otherwise, which obviously needs to be taken care of before any approvals or building occurs. So that's kind of on the back burner right now for everybody, it seems.
This is it's called Colvin.
Colvin Road, yeah.
It's, yeah, it's COL.
VIN. Kind of goes from 117 and then kind of scoots back around out towards.
Hopefully,
Parcel of land of several parcels of.
it's
land?
just, it's a, I'm not good at areas, but about a 1 acre or so to maybe.
Oh, it looks bigger than that.
You
They
think-
cleared, yeah. they cleared
Okay,
quite
so
a
they
bit.
cleared this
It
area.
looks like it drops off two in the back, so it
Yeah.
looks like it's, like, you don't have a sense of the.
I think I told
35.
Is it, was it cleared just recently or?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's gonna
Yeah.
be solar, right?
Yeah, they were
Yeah,
gonna go
so-
build the solar.
It's in the last 4 or 5 months then.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so I think it was, we were,
It was in like the 100, 200 block of Colvintown,
yeah,
if I remember correctly.
because we live right off Colvin.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
Peakwood Drive.
Oh, okay,
So that's right near our house.
That's Chandler. Yeah, the property, it's directly behind Watercress Court. There it is.
Yeah.
So here's the property here,
Oh,
just for everybody watching. I'll just share that so we can see.
How big is that? Can you?
It is. It's a load. I don't know.
Looks pretty big though.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay, thank you. I was just curious where it
Sure.
was.
yeah, I'm striking out here, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you kind of get an idea for
Yeah.
the size. I mean, these are all.
What was on
single-family
there
homes.
before? Was there a business there? I know it's not far from the quarry, but.
It was, there was a house along the road,
Right.
not far from it, but it was really good forested land
Huh.
until they cleared it. As far as, for
Yeah.
as long as I was there, which is now 36 years.
Okay.
If you
Yeah.
click on the card, wouldn't it come up?
33 acres.
43 acres.
43, okay.
Yeah, it's a good size.
Yeah, it's a good piece there.
So
Yeah.
it's not all cleared. It's,
No.
No,
it's,
I would say you're probably right, maybe 2 or 3 acres are cleared, and then because you can see the trees look low, it must come down.
All right. Let's see, grant opportunities. Anything that anyone's heard of? Okay, we'll continue moving. Now we've done all of item 6, go into item 7. Rory, any drone update for us?
I reached out to Mark Fisher, invited him to Land Trust Days again, but asked for him to do a prospectus, like what he would charge us to film Land Trust and the trail. And then said if he could get back to me by next meeting, we could talk about it.
Okay,
So I'm hoping to hear back from him.
all right. Boundary markers, we will, as soon as the foliage comes off.
On Town Hall. Yeah, the tree that took that, can you put another one back?
Will I?
Yeah, could you?
I could. Should I?
I think I would.
You're gonna stand post to,
No, I think there might be a change in attitude.
oh, okay.
It's just my gut feeling.
Just put some poison ivy
Okay.
sap on it or
So
something.
if you
That'll
can.
clear right
All
up.
right, we'll try again.
All
Okay.
right, right?
Sure, yeah.
Right. Okay, I'm gonna have to skip a couple more signs from you. I've got the screws and still enough to do
Okay.
with that, but I just need 2 more signs for testing there. Okay, we'll try that. And then we do want to do trestle trail edge at least. As soon as it gets cooler and maybe some of the leaves, low stuff comes off, it'll be easy to work there. Kiosks.
Well, outside of what we're gonna do on Stella Hall,
Okay.
everything else is pretty much the same.
Okay,
You have a picture of the.
When we
Yes.
go to the task workshop.
Oh, okay.
signs. Any update on installing Janice Sullivan sign? Yeah,
We haven't heard anything from
Kevin.
Kevin. I don't know.
I know, well, he's dealing with summer vacations and
That's why I should.
transition, so maybe we can
So I'm
tackle
thinking-
that after the Labor Day. He might have his workforce back
Okay,
full and enough to,
so you're going that far up? I was gonna think maybe.
well, I think a lot, still with the vacations, if he's down 1 or 2 people,
Okay.
doing garbage pickup
So
and
you're
stuff,
saying
so he
we
doesn't,
won't do
yeah.
anything until September?
I'm gonna, that would be my opinion.
Okay, no.
You could reach out and ask
them
him or just say, but I would think, just knowing how staffing is this, during the summer, it's tough if one person's off,
All right, September it is.
before the snow flies.
All right.
All right, general trail system, here we did have our guest. Stella Hall Land Trust, Dave's cash sheet, Dennis, take her away.
General cleanup. Again, in that back section, I've talked to Kevin. If we're talking September, then it's gonna be awful close to. We just won't take them back there, because Jack and I already talked about that. Maybe we'll just take
Stay
them
on the
down the
other
other
trail,
side and
yeah.
don't even take them to that area.
Okay, that works.
That's
Yeah,
what
if we don't have
discussed.
that cleaned up in the back because of scheduling, then that doesn't have
I
to,
mean,
we have
based on
plenty
the-
enough
Yeah.
for touring.
Yeah.
Without going back there.
The only thing we'd have to move is that tire.
I moved it already.
The big tire?
Yeah, I went there to do this land trust days because the application form is in my name and pass it over to you with her going back and forth to me. And I said, it'll never happen. So I submitted it all this week.
Okay.
Good.
Okay.
Got it
I didn't do it all. I just said, it's not gonna work out right. It's too many. She's not there to help.
Right, right.
So it's in my name. I said, might as well do
That's good, that's good, yeah.
Good.
Besides have,
it. No.
yeah, well,
What would you say before I forgot?
The tire.
Oh, yeah, I moved that already.
Move that,
When I
okay.
went there to get pictures for this land trust days, I just rolled it out all the way up to the parking lot.
Oh, okay.
Wow, you go.
Might as well get it over with.
Yeah, I was gonna say, Dennis was a kid and he used to take the stick and roll the tires.
So I just said, yes.
How was the day that was cooler than today?
Yeah.
So I just,
Thank you, Dennis.
I mean,
Really?
Jack and I were going to do it together, but we really thought Kevin would show up by now, to be honest with you. But I was gonna call you, but I think you had visitors coming, so I said, no
Yeah,
sense
yeah.
calling you,
Right,
so,
now they're back in Missouri.
oh, could I know that? I would get off track, I guess. All right, all right, so Joan, it's kind of like a WIP, but in essence, if we don't take them in that back section, I pretty much think we might be done, but we'll do a final walk.
Okay.
All right, the parking area is done. Okay, the entrance is where we're gonna need some people to help us. What day do we choose? The
Friday.
22nd, Friday,
Right,
this coming Friday, right?
right, yeah.
Yeah, this coming Friday. I can bring a lawnmower, Jack can bring some of his cutting tools. And we gotta open up that entrance. We looked at it, how far we can go back, because it's a small hill, so I don't know how much.
No, I think we're gonna clip the edge. back.
Okay, that's what we took. Yeah,
That was the
okay.
plan, right? So we wouldn't have people rubbing up against the brush and they could walk on there.
And where the entrance of the kiosk is, won't you take this part? Your friend with the police station came over and talked about opening that up.
Well, we invited Captain Witt, and he gave us a little input. One of the pieces was using a chain and a key Police department, DPW, fire department, and Parks and Rec would all have one. Where the cement blocks are now, he said they could be kept in place or adjusted where a UTV could get in and not a regular vehicle. If they had to extract somebody out that,
Oh, right.
hurt themselves hiking.
Yep.
Those are suggestions that he gave us.
But he also said about opening up the area too.
Yeah, yeah.
Not those overhang branches, he said just,
Trim that to make it a little more visible.
so Friday, the 22nd at 9:30 a.m. We can just do the entrance, which doing those branches is where the kiosk is, that's part of the entrance too. Just open it right up.
So July 22nd.
Now, that's this Friday,
This Friday coming.
This Friday,
Yeah.
okay.
Make sure you bring gloves, because there is poison ivy.
Okay.
Okay,
So we got that solved. Okay, the kiosk. Jack and I have been busy little beavers.
Looks it.
Pass that along, please. So the kiosk is repaired as far as I think we're concerned, right? So we put a stainless steel lock on the front,
yeah.
Looks
that's
good.
I mean, a latch, I should say.
A
not-
latch, yeah.
Okay, so it shouldn't rust. It's supposed to be stainless steel. I added some more stuff. We did a little bit, then I added some more. The second page is the picture, because Jack's is better than mine.
Mhm.
So. I put your map in
Thank you.
there, okay?
Is it the newest one?
No, it's not. It's the one that the latest you had, but we got more
Okay.
changes.
Yeah.
That you not, well.
Yeah,
that's- that
at
has
least
been
it's a
discussed.
start.
Yeah.
Well, that's good.
Looks great.
Mhm. Yeah,
So as far as I'm concerned, unless Jack has a different opinion, but don't.
No, we've been driving by
Yeah.
on a weekly basis, checking to make sure there's been no vandalism.
Oh, good.
And so far,
So far, that's why I say, I mean, yeah, try putting that sign back up, let's see what happens.
okay,
Somebody's already been there since we did the kiosk.
okay.
somebody was looking there today.
Well,
at
good.
lunchtime.
Okay.
Keep our fingers crossed.
All right, so kiosk is complete, done and over with.
Good.
Okay, the next thing is, I guess we could talk about the trail. now. Or should we jump to information? Maybe we should, the Land Trust Days activities. We can't, Candace, you should interface with us. I submitted it. I didn't make copies because I just ran out of time. I used some of your phrases. I was there writing, I said, oh, I'm gonna turn this to a map, I just cheat and do this.
Yeah.
So, and these are the pictures that I submitted. Yep. Pass them around. Oh, goodness, I think I sent you a copy, didn't I? Is it okay as it is? 'Cause
Yeah, no, I think all of this is,
If there's gonna be changes. I'm gonna try to do this.
no, I think that's what, yeah.
Mhm.
So that should, if they do in past history, it should end up. Oh, yeah, it should end up in here, and then the write-up is done.
Right.
Now, Candace is not gonna be there. I sent it to Kate also.
Kate says,
So to be honest with you, kind of to, look what I know what Candace is doing. I'm not sure what's gonna happen,
we'll keep our fingers
but
crossed.
we made the deadline. The
Yeah.
activity form, supposed to be like August 5th, so they have everything we need, as far as I know.
Yeah, I'm sure it'll get posted.
So That's about it. I mean, unless you want to take for the write-off. It's not the first grade letter, so I don't know if, I didn't make copies, I don't know if you will
No,
look at it.
no.
then. But I did take a couple of pictures.
Perfect.
I'm trying to figure this out, it's right in front of my eye, right here.
Yeah.
Alright. So that's done. So I'm gonna say that this land trust activities action is done. We'll just go through a few things.
Good.
One of the things we still at home is that my husband and I still haven't gotten out there, but we were gonna do just a really basic survey of what's out there and just have, let people know, these are some of the things you can spot while you're out.
Oh, yeah, well,
Well, any advertising you can do never hurts.
Right, okay.
And, that's how people come to Bowling. That guy took that walk course in the wintertime. I posted that, but he wrote up there where he put it. And people will come, you know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Right.
that, yeah.
Just a note, when we took our little walk with the police officer, we noted that there's a wildlife camera up there.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
As you proceed up the trail, probably about maybe 300 yards up on the left, back into the woods, there's a fluorescent orange flag up in a tree, and it's probably about 8 feet below the base of the tree, pointing out into the trail. I don't know who it belongs to. I didn't investigate it any further, just that there is one there.
Interesting.
That is interesting, yeah. What if it's active, if you can tell?
I have no idea. Do you know if it's active? I think Roy asked if it was active.
I didn't,
I
Yeah.
don't even know how you know. I mean,
Oh,
usually
okay.
it's it's battery powered, so,
Yeah.
right?
I didn't approach it, I just, observed it.
Right.
It's like something out there not attended to, it's dead, but there's no way on my lot, anyway, you can tell whether it's
Right.
working, there's no little light on or
Right.
anything.
So if there's one there, I don't know if I should be looking for more.
How is it mounted? Is it
It looks like
Nailed
it's
in?
strapped to a tree.
just strapped?
Well, I observed it from probably 150 feet away.
Did the officer have anything to say about it, or did he,
No, he noticed it too.
he noticed it too?
Yeah.
He didn't.
If he did, I don't remember. Did he
Yeah,
say?
he noticed it.
Yeah.
Well, I think we'll monitor the situation, maybe after land trust days. I don't want to, obviously someone's either doing it for hunting,
Mhm.
because that's what generally people do with their game cameras. Depending on which type of model it is, there's a different problem too, because you have ones that send off signals. If it's a more sophisticated one, that gives you an alert that there's activity there, which we don't want that on our
Right.
property, and we don't want hunting on the property.
Mhm.
So I think the follow-up with that will be, let's monitor the situation a little bit, and then we can talk to our friends with the police department. It'd be better that if there was to be confiscated,
They do
they do it.
it. Yeah.
Mhm.
And then we just, I don't, want to have retribution right before land trust day.
Right.
So it's not at this point, but let's keep our eye on it. We could put a camera on the camera to see what comes up, but let's not get too focused on that today. Let's not forget about it though, and it could mean that hunting activity, and we can't patrol, we're not.
Mhm.
I'd be more interested if it's one that sends off a signal for activity, so maybe we can zoom in on it closer to see what kind
That would
of,
be
how
helpful.
high was it up in the tree?
It was close to the ground.
Close to the ground, okay. So it's, okay.
I would say from the distance I was, and only looking at it once, maybe 3 feet off the ground.
Did you go up and put your face right up to it?
No.
I'll bring my dog by and she can lick the lens.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, well, that's good spotting, and maybe that's something that we should always, they're hard to spot, obviously, they're mostly camouflaged, the ones that, so.
I know on James Sullivan, we observed a couple of tree stands.
Yep,
before.
yep.
Yeah, and I think what we, there's two ways of handling it and just responsibly, maybe we can have a note, please, when you come to check your stand, please take it with you. This is, and the same thing for the camera, rather than going out right away and confiscating it. Maybe just a note of warning that this camera is located on private property, please remove. Not private property, I should say, but on my town of Coventry property. But let's keep that in mind for our next, discussion as we move after the. Okay, anything?
All right, can we jump to trail map?
Mhm.
Because we're gonna need
Yeah,
that
you're
map
ready.
for when people come
Okay,
to walk the trail.
so I have two, we have football and Stella Hall.
I like to do Star Hall first,
Stella
because
Hall
that
first.
event is
Okay,
pretty soon.
there's Stella Hall. So this is the latest version. I was trying to send these out to you guys ahead of time, and then I got in trouble because apparently we're not allowed by Robert's Rules of Order to discuss these
It's the
things.
Open Meetings Act, so,
So anyway.
the procedure is send to Gail and then she can distribute it front. I know.
But I had so many different versions.
Yeah.
I don't.
So the other thing that we do need and we can set up is, we can call a work
That's what I was
session.
gonna question.
Okay.
We're just going over
Ways
map
and have a map
details, so we
that
don't
you
have to have a
set.
regular full board meeting.
But for now,
But if you've got something that you want to present, you can send me an email and say, look, I'd like to get a work session, so we can just go over
Minor points.
finer points and just work on that. So we're not really voting on things, but just reviewing and taking suggestions or whatever. Sure.
Okay.
Okay.
So, based on the comments that I had at the last meeting, this is the new version. We've got the trails colored
yeah.
in based on what
Mhm.
Dennis and Jack have paint for,
Yeah.
I guess. And then I put the mileage on there in the top so that people can get an idea of the distances. The middle part there labeled undisturbed natural area. We've got the logos at the top, although there's still some question about the Coventry Land Trust logo and whether that's the correct one or
Okay,
not.
I think I got some logos right here.
Yep.
This one, to me, you can modify this, you can shrink this,
I would imagine so.
and then you can put it where you have, because this doesn't say land trust.
No, it says conservation.
I know the town owns the
conservation.
property, but we do the legwork. So it should, that's where it says constantly.
Yeah, it says conservation.
Um,
This was the only one that Gail was able to come up with
Okay.
it's an actual image file as opposed. Because we want to have something that's nice and crisp and clean.
Right.
I'm gonna say Coventry Land Trust up here.
Scan. Right, yeah.
Yeah, but you want to make sure that this logo says,
Right.
okay, it doesn't say. Yeah, there's nothing at all here. I know it says Cavanagh Land Trust, but the idea of having your segment is important, I think.
The other thing
That's
I
just
can do is I can manipulate this image with the duck in it and just take the text out of there and so that Coventry, it just sits there by itself with Coventry Land Trust over the top.
All right, that sounds like an idea. If we can't shrink this, then your idea will work, I think.
And right before the meeting, I had actually just sent you, it's that same logo without the text.
Oh,
So
okay,
maybe you can do
perfect.
something with that. There seemed to be a couple of different versions. There was one with a white background, and then there was one with, it looked like just the duck and the grass there.
Okay.
With like no background to it. So,
Transparent.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
yeah, that'll be perfect. That's actually,
That's the modification I did here.
okay, yeah.
okay.
All right, to add it to,
Okay, so I'm gonna do
Because
the
we didn't-
logo with no text.
does that make sense, Tom? Should we let that fly with that, or?
That makes sense to me, Dennis. I think
Okay.
that's the way we should go.
Okay, I've got wetland symbols in the wetland down there.
Mhm.
I got a north arrow that's a little
I
more
like that.
traditional.
Yeah, I added to the one when it came over. I put, okay, that's good. I have a question.
Okay,
It's one that Linda had, I think. Walking the trail to get pictures for the land trust days. we should try to get another scenic view area somewhere along in here on this trail. The blue trail,
On the blue trail,
Yeah.
okay,
because what we're gonna do is, we're gonna come up this way and
uh-huh,
go around.
okay,
So a couple places where we have the peepholes that you walk down to the edge and can
You can
look
see.
out.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Do you agree with that?
We're on the blue trail.
Yep. on
Yeah.
the trail.
There's places where people have gone down to the water to fish, little openings.
mhm. Okay.
What would you like to see on that? Do you have any in particular?
Well, I don't know where they should be.
All right, let me.
I mean, if we walk it, we would know.
All right,
right?
I did walk it, so I'm gonna say, you can put one here. You can actually put three if you wanted to. I don't know if that'd be too cluttered. Should you just put maybe one in the middle and just let them take the common sense, oh, it's all people.
I would, just from my standpoint, I would put it at one or more locations where you can really get to the water and see. I mean,
Yeah,
some of
I'm
the
gonna go
places
off
that I
of memory.
saw were
I think,
kind of
I think
overgrown.
right here,
Okay,
off of memory,
Yeah.
is the closest point.
okay,
You can see where people did fishing and whatever, they used to stand in the fish. In fact, I took some garbage out when I was taking the pictures.
okay.
Is it okay for people to fish at the
I don't
property?
know. I have no idea.
yeah, I don't know. I don't know what our regulations, I don't know whether we have any regulations.
Well, they allow fishing on a road, and that's town property.
That's why I wanted, do you add something that says fishing location?
I don't know if I would want to do that. That's just my personal opinion.
Okay.
No, let's just leave it the scenic view and, obviously some people may have gone down there to fish or whatever, but I don't think we have to advertise it. But it's something to put in the back of our mind of things that,
I know that because I've seen empty worm containers,
Yeah,
Right.
so.
well, it don't make sense that
Yeah.
people would walk there with their fishing pole.
Well, I know on Trestle Trail, there's a spot where people seem, where it's almost like encouraged for people to fish right off of that. So I don't know that it's prohibited.
We'd have to double check to see if we have anything in our, I don't remember no fishing there. I know
Right,
hunting
I
was
don't know
one,
hunting.
hunting because we got guns involved.
I think there was no fishing too.
You think there was no fishing?
Well,
too?
again, it just popped in my head. Right up that comes to DEM when you do the management plan, which I was gonna bring up. Management plan, we could pass over to them. It's the maintenance you're supposed to do to the trails in order to get the grant. So,
Well, we have to look at, for this one, obviously it was different than ours, but if it's a no.
that's why there was people that all that out, because when I went there a few times, I read them, and one of them was no fishing.
See if there are, anytime you pass over that record, see if you can find that no fishing paragraph, so we can, that will reiterate our rules. I don't think we have to go out and put up signage
No.
on fishing. It's just,
Okay, I will look, but it won't be,
yeah, don't worry about it. That's not a high priority today.
because I am
But for future,
a little bit better. Okay.
yeah, I don't think we have to push it. It's not a problem.
All right. So can I close this by saying, we're gonna leave the duck all by himself,
Mhm.
and we're gonna add a section for SEMA.
Mhm.
Did I miss anything?
nope.
Once that's done,
That's it,
can you do me a favor?
yes,
Email the map so I can
Uh-huh.
get it ready for them.
okay. Is there a, do you like it as a PDF?
Yes. Then can we officially say this map is done?
Yep,
Thumbs up,
I'll give it a thumbs up.
2 thumbs up.
2 thumbs up.
Five thumbs up. Excellent work.
Okay,
It's a really good product, really good.
I'm glad you're happy with it.
so anything left on the trails is Jackie and I gotta talk. Oh, God. What, we're still only gonna do one trail because
We're
it's
gonna
not one.
mark, yellow.
If you want, I can laminate them so they will
Hold up.
hold up well. in the
Okay.
kiosk,
All
okay?
right. Yep.
Yeah, that's- Level.
John.
So, back to the, same,
Stella Hall.
Stella Hall.
Yep.
Oh, as a point of discussion, at the moment, all we're gonna do to get ready for September because of our time schedules and all that, we're just gonna do the yellow trail.
Mhm.
And that's when I did the write-up, I said we would use the yellow trail as the guided tour.
That'll be the tour trail, okay,
Right.
yeah, makes sense, sure.
Okay. Now, we're gonna branch off onto the blue.
Take the looks, yeah,
Yeah.
that way. through.
I didn't, when I did the write-up, I looked at it later, and I meant to do it, but I forgot, so.
Well, it only makes, you know,
Yeah, no, I mean, they won't know the difference. And
No.
then we'll go back and we'll do the other two trails sometime during.
Yeah.
Yep.
they can anyone can wander off, but the guided tour will be the,
Right.
Okay.
Are you planning on having the map available
Oh,
for
yes.
people to, okay.
And what I'll do is,
Uh,
since we might not be doing the white or the blue, I'm gonna highlight on one master map, so they can see where it is, all right?
so what we do is we send to John our final version there and say we want 20 for 25 of them for Land Trust
Okay.
Day.
you-
He'll print
you
them out.
Print them out on the
Yeah.
printer.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah, well, I've been printing maps. And I've been putting them.
We don't want to burn your ink out because that's expensive.
Mhm.
But he
You
can
gonna
print
laminate
out.
them too?
Mhm.
I don't have a laminator. Not here.
So you send me one, please,
Okay, yes, I will.
then let me, because I gotta make sure.
Does the library have one?
I'm not sure.
Yeah, the library, I'm pretty sure because they've got a lot of laminated pieces of things over there, so I'm sure they're doing it.
The library did have a laminator when I worked there,
Yeah,
which was 8 years ago, but
yeah, I think they still do.
When do you think you might be able to send it to me?
By Friday.
That'll work perfect.
Those changes are minor.
Perfect.
Okay,
All
so.
right, so we got the logo settled.
Yep.
We got the map down.
And then with Linda and her husband Bill's help, we went to Whipple and did some trail mapping there. And so we have a first draft of you for you to see the Whipple Conservation Area one. And so we marked out some vernal pools, all the boardwalks, the park bench that's there overlooking the river, some scenic views. And so with this one, I guess the questions will be again, obviously, if we're going to go with the Land Trust logo with no text, I would do the same on this one.
Mhm.
I guess the big question here is how are we going to mark up these trails? Because there's a lot of trails here. And if you put too many colors on there, you won't be able to distinguish between them. So we could go with symbols, like some trails would be dots, some trails would be solid lines, some would be triangles as dots. But that would be something that together we would need to work on to decide how to segment these trails out.
You're gonna have to try to break it in segments. This is a real, wow.
Yeah, so there's a lot here.
Yeah.
And we
Yeah.
don't have to make decisions on it tonight again. Maybe this is another work session type thing. And then, because again, it's going to be how you want to mark them so that people can follow the trails with the signage. Because if you're going to use paint and you only have yellow, blue, and green paint, you're going to be using, So anyway, that's the question here is how do we mark these trails so that they're distinct on the map?
And I think before we can make them distinct on the map, we need to make them distinct on the land. So I think that our first order of business that way would be to physically go out there and mark different trails, different colored trails. So that
Yeah, I think we
everybody-
gotta get a good feel for what makes sense and doesn't make sense to tie, which trails you tie together, and
Right.
yeah, there's a lot there. I didn't
These are
realize.
actually
it.
trails, you actually walk these things.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I see people going in all the time when.
You know, I'm just
busy.
very surprised
Oh,
Yeah.
that's-
that,
And they're clean too. It's
And-
very, it's
Oh, that's
amazing.
nice.
Yeah, the people who use this place maintain it.
Mm.
They take great pride.
Yeah. a
And
nice
it's really
property.
nice. So, and since we don't live that far, we go fairly often. One of the things we did is we sort of marked a perimeter trail so that you could get through the edge of the property, but all our
Mhm.
little flags got torn off. I think somebody by the next day they were gone. So I think somebody thought that we were developing the
Yes.
property.
Oh,
Yeah.
Because they weren't just torn off and left on the ground. There was somebody who pocketed
Yeah.
them and
Yeah.
took them away. So, anyway, and from some of the reaction we got from some of the people we met, I think there was fear that we were gonna usurp their property that they hold dear.
So we need to somehow make it clear that the markers that we put are land trust markers.
Right, right. So,
that's kind of going to be streamlined a lot.
I think, looking at this map, my one thing is that there's little I think that some of the users have actually built some of these little bridges because they're marked with names like My Buddy.
Bella's Bridge. and-
Bella's
Oh,
Bridge and,
yeah.
That's cute.
So, but
They're very nicely done.
it's gorgeous.
It's
Mm.
chiseled into the wood.
Right. So, but there isn't actual boardwalks to the Sandy Acres property. So do we need a different name for those little walkways? Do we want to just call them little bridges, boardwalks, bridges? Because there is a long boardwalk
Mhm.
through the wetlands to Sandy.
Right, yeah,
Acres.
so this, I don't know if you can see, but this whole segment down here, this little piece here and this little piece here, that's an actual wooden walkway, the entire length
wow.
of that,
Mm.
because it goes through a major wetland area.
Mm.
So that's actually, and then again, I don't even know if you want those on there because they extend off the property.
Right.
So I can take those off and have it just end at the beginning of the boardwalk.
Well,
Oh.
Sandy Acres that's also owned by the town, right?
Yes.
So I think we leave them on, and I think what we need probably to do is this may be another work session that we just
Yeah.
go and spend an hour or two or, wandering around and trying to get a feel of what we need to do, because it's, I have not walked all this whole area, so I think it would be very viable for us all to do a work session there on, maybe after Stella Hall property is done, and then be a little cooler in the fall maybe, and maybe some full foliage walk through there would be.
Yeah.
But I think that there's so much here. Yeah, we got to figure out what would make sense for trails, layouts, or whether we,
You gotta kind of walk it. to get
yeah, and I don't even know whether we want to, let's go.
You
See
might
if
want
there's
to leave
a,
it just as it is.
yeah, I'm wondering whether we just leave it as it is. And
How long's it been? I have to check the date. How long's it?
Well, this has been quite a while.
That was one of the early ones, wasn't
That
it?
was the first property.
Yeah.
So that happened in 2000 maybe,
Me.
1999,
2002, maybe?
when,
2002?
2002?
Maybe. I
I
don't
don't know,
know.
Joyce would know.
Yeah.
Actually, I think it's on the thing that I wanted to show next visually. But John, I think, has access to it, maybe written on there, the year, because I copied and pasted from the Country Land Trust page.
So
So,
some point we're going to show, it's this task sheet.
2002 or 3, no, 2000,
Yeah.
2003, yeah.
2003.
Yeah. So there was like an initial piece and then they added on to it. So, and I was actually on the land trust for the original piece.
Wow.
And then I got booted off because I started to work at the library and they told me I couldn't do that. So, but
Yeah, you're back.
now I'm bad because I don't work at the library.
Okay, so let's target a fall work session. We just walking through and getting a good feel of the property, and then that way we'll be able to help better on any mapping ideas.
Mhm.
Well, currently, isn't Parks and Rec maintaining it?
Yeah. this
They're
was-
mowing it, I know they're mowing it, yeah.
Yeah.
And you said there was a tree down and then it was not there?
Yeah, so the tree was down right at the entrance to Trestle Trail. So it's like, right here. So it was like, maybe it might even have been on Trestle Trail property, but was as, you access that. So, yeah, I believe, I suspect that, Parks and Rec, that trade down.
Okay, for agenda items for next meeting, I know we're jumping one step ahead here, that's just make sure that we include setting up Whipple Conservation Area Trail Map work session.
And I have a question. This is such a wonderful map. Can it go up on our website as is? And then we can always
Revise it.
revise.
Yeah, I think this should be posted right
If we
away.
have trails and got a map,
Post it.
post it.
Post it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the goal we set back 5 years ago when I first got on the board.
So do I send the PDF to you, John?
Yeah. That works.
Yeah, I think when we accomplish something this good, even though it might get revised as we do some more work later on, this needs to go up.
Second, the map, when you do the corrections.
Yep.
We can send them to John also, and one to me, because I gotta do this backwards, right?
Got it.
Um,
I'll see it for me by Monday.
Okay, I'll call you
Say,
Tuesday.
hey, landlord.
I want a hamburger too.
All right, great.
Do we have time to do one other thing that
Yeah.
wasn't by request, but I just wanted you guys to see some of the technology? Is that okay?
Okay, well, let's jump and we'll
Yeah,
finish
just-
that one more or two more things on this
All right.
task list and then we'll go
Well,
to
I
that.
just did the trails. Let's go to the information packet where we can. I know everybody got a copy of this. When we first did it, names were assigned. So I'm gonna assume that everybody knows what they're doing. You know what I'm saying, in a sense? So the map is, I'm gonna say is done. Okay. Packet and handout, I started working on that the other day. I'm gonna use what we've done in the past. Information purposes. Nothing ties into this all by itself.
Right.
Sign-in sheet. I put this together, because you're gonna be doing. Yep. Right, so you always wanted a cover letter, but John says he's gonna fix the naming.
Yes.
Okay, you have a copy of this? Yep. So I gave you extras, and I don't know if you want to modify this or did something totally different.
Nope, I'm gonna do it like the same way that we did before.
Do you need this, you're gonna have John wait?
I'm gonna wait for the usually I send out the letters the first week of August because that's when they set aside their donations. They do it in a month in advance. So
Okay.
as long as I get out the first week of August, I'm gonna hit up the same people who got the sponsorships from before. Go back.
All
to
right,
them.
so I'll fix that and I'll just send a
Perfect.
copy out to everybody.
Okay, so that's a bunch, so that's. All right, so. Fact sheet, I don't know if we did one last year, so maybe we don't do it this year.
Yeah, well, it's necessary.
All right,
I'll worry about that. actually.
all right, press release is you. All right,
I got press release.
invitation is you.
I got press release and invites on mine.
Okay,
I'm gonna wait until I think for the invites will be 4 weeks out. Press release, I think last time we did 2 weeks out.
so was it, I don't remember, so.
Yeah.
I sign, I'll take care of the signs, I already know where I'm gonna put them. Outside the parking lot, when I did the write-up, we come in from Putney Hill or Route 117.
Correct.
Okay, but I'm not gonna put signs there. I'm gonna put 'em- I told them in the write-up, be looking for signage for land trust. I gave them the distance, 1 mile one end and a quarter mile from the other.
Okay.
All right. All right, I don't know if we're doing drones or not.
Mark's gonna hopefully call me back in the next couple of weeks, so I'll know for certain.
Donations are zero.
Yep.
Okay, refreshments, snacks.
Same thing, I'm going back to BJ's, hopefully they will fund us again for it.
Okay, Wendy, you're also with Roy and Ward. You still doing water?
Yep.
You and Roy? Okay. Now, when support equipment, first aid,
Got it,
okay. Bags of ice, we got Jack, Linda, and Roy.
with coolers.
Right, Jack? Linda, thumbs up, all right. Okay, tick spray, that's me. Tent,
Supplying it.
okay. Tables, chairs. We're gonna use the library like we usually do. Okay.
Make sure we
Napkins.
got them.
Paper towels, that's me. Ice chest, we got Jack and Rory.
Mhm.
Chairs
Mhm.
is Glenn, so we'll put them in like we did, have always done. Portable John,
No water.
all right. So, who's gonna be there?
This one will be easier because we don't have to, last one we had to direct them where, to- this one I'm just gonna put a flag out and say, drop it out where the flag is.
Yeah.
Okay, so you, all right, then,
That one we won't have to wait for. Won't be-
somebody, if he's gonna come late, anything after 5, I can be there.
I don't think we'll have an issue this time. Last time we were putting it up in the woods, so
Yeah,
this one's just down the end of the parking lot as far away as from. we can get.
All right, the signage was locating, I already told you I'm gonna put it right outside the parking lot, so that's me. And I think that's everything.
good.
There's nothing else, and we have stuff done.
All right, great.
So now, just as a reminder on your calendar, task C, the entrance. 9:30 this coming Friday, we could use the help.
I'll be in Boston working.
Huh?
I'll be in Boston
Oh,
working
shit.
like a regular person.
All
I
right,
haven't gotten the gray hair enough to retire yet.
all right, so I think we're covered. Anyone missed and somebody knows something,
Good.
so you don't need these, that's good, you're going right to her and it takes care of that.
Okay,
The symbols are signed.
when you wanted to share something with us?
Yeah, if we have time. I
Yeah.
don't wanna shoot
Well,
that.
we got another 5 or 6 minutes.
No, just take real quick. I can-
So I'll share the screen and I'll just pass it out to you.
Okay,
Um,
so this, what I've created here is what's called a story map. And I just wanted you to see the possibilities for this. And link this off of the land trust page or whatnot. So basically what it does is we could have this page where you come down and you see each one of the different properties.
Mhm.
And then we can have the actual trails. I'm actually gonna go back to the photo. And you can have anything you want here. So we can have photographs, you can have text. And what I thought, sort of what inspired me was when I was walking with Linda, she was talking about Hope Meadows on football and how there was a history behind that.
Mm,
It might be really interesting to be able to put that history on here
definitely.
somehow.
Yeah.
And then you can have the map either
Mhm.
in 2D or 3D, or both. And people would, this would be available to the public so that they could go in and actually get a bird's eye view of what's on the property. And then, you can have a gallery of pictures. This is, so you can see, here's the text on
Oh,
the
Billings
bridge.
Bridge,
Yeah.
yeah.
Like, they're all marked like this. It's really nice. And you can have, it's like a slideshow that's embedded in here to show the different types of scenic landscapes and whatnot that people will see. It's a little slow, I guess, the internet. So we have, somebody caught a nice, there was a blue heron out there, but I just missed it with my camera. So anyway, and then, you can have these chapters
Mhm.
with the thing across the top, so we could potentially have, and you can have the markers on here too, so if we wanted to have the parking area and whatnot.
Yeah.
And I didn't spend a lot of time with, putting the colors on the trails and so forth. But yeah, so it's something to consider for the future to give you guys an idea of what we can do with some of the technology
Yeah.
that's out there now.
That's amazing.
Yeah, that's gonna be very nice. I think the having the story, telling the
Yeah.
history, the bits and pieces and little folklore that goes with all of that stuff is great. I think that's really gonna be.
I'm not capable of writing a story, so.
Dennis is a great storyteller. so,
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
Yeah, so yeah, I think that's where Linda's gonna come in helpful and grab,
Oh,
you
yeah,
know,
we
grab a
will.
little bit of
It'd be good.
the Hope Meadow history and stuff, the little, little clips that we need to put on each, and then we can all contribute if we have something that we wanna
Yeah.
verbalize, we can shoot it to Linda to say, all right, this is something, and then funnel it all to
Yep.
to Lynn, and then we can get it. That's gonna be really good. That's sweet. You're making leaps and bounds on what we tried for several years, and now it's finally happened, so.
We started, there was no land trust when we started.
Yeah, I know, there wasn't much of it.
Believe me.
It's going, that's good, that's exciting that the actual stuff that we need to get done
The
is.
first 3 meetings, we didn't even have a quorum. It took us,
No, I know, it took quite a while, but,
we had to build it up and then
okay, issues of interest for the August 16th. We said setting a work session schedule for the Whipple Conservation Area. Whipple Phillips is a real person, but let's see. H.P. Lovecraft relative. Let's see, anything else that we wanted to add? We want to schedule a work session.
For these homes.
Yeah. The Rhode Island Nursery Landscaping Association.
Yep.
So we'll put that on the agenda to schedule workshops. So we have 2 workshops to schedule. Anything else that?
Hopefully we'll have like a price from the drone guy, so we
Okay.
can.
So we'll keep that on the section there of drones.
Yes, if that's okay.
And the next GIS map, Bowden.
we have a boat map already, but we've got, I believe in standardization.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah,
since you
we want to
have
do
more
Out there and
maps
map the
than
trails on
the
there.
original, when we started with the Bolton, then we'll transfer it to your form.
Yeah, and it'll be good that once she's got the format, she can manage it as we
Right.
work or develop it. That's, adding stuff, the scenic view or whatever, the
Yeah,
walking down to the river there, the little.
but we can do it as an in-house.
So what?
Never mind, so
Okay.
it's a
Well,
military
anyway,
channel.
I would just, it would be good to, at some point in the future, set up a date for when we can walk that property.
All right, can you take the map we already had done, that Jack and I, and,
I can give it a start, yeah.
okay. You have that one,
I
right?
do,
You-
yeah,
yeah.
it's in
Why don't you try to start with that one? Could you do that?
I can lay it out like this and
Yeah,
at least get the
yeah.
start. Okay.
You gotta have standardization.
Yep.
Makes life easy.
Any other agenda items?
I just, there's something we brought up a few meetings ago that this is not necessarily something we have to do right away, but one of the things we've talked about is having a story block, which I think would encourage families with younger children to come to one of our properties. And that could be something for, not for Stella Hall, but for like our September 1 year from now. And what a story walk is usually is that you take a picture book and you take each step along the way has a page of the picture book, so the kids can read the story as they go.
So
And a
that
lot
might
of-
be, I think you're right on to something, because if we maybe move next year to Whipple, I don't want to say Whipple Phillips, I don't know, the name is stuck in my head, Whipple Conservation Area, and say we want to showcase that. And do for the children's, we could have a section timing, and that would be ideal. We've got some great areas for doing that
Right,
there, but that would be an excellent activity to add to bring, so a lot of kids don't like to go hiking, especially young kids, they get bored, but this would be able to say, all right, let's do this, and yeah, I think you're onto something. I think that's a good.
Believe it or not, that's something Candace and I talked about doing on the Bolton property. That trail that goes to the Greenway, but more from a science point of view, a little bit.
So let's, for the agenda item then for, Land Trust Days 2023, I know it's early, but let's, start at least target, at least if we have an idea that it's gonna be maybe Whipple property, and then we can start developing some ideas. Obviously, we'll get through the first, but at least we can
Yeah.
set on the agenda, and then any such things as that, I think that's a great idea, and maybe a perfect place to do it.
And maybe like just a brainstorm, maybe like another thing that I've seen is scavenger hunt.
Yeah, a couple of those activities that actually make the Land Trust Days potentially extend, a little bit longer than just a short hike set with
Yep.
Neil and whatever, and bring in a whole different group of people there's a lot of people that just like to do those scavenger hunts. And so if we say 12 o'clock, we're gonna kick off the scavenger hunt or whatever. So those are great ideas.
We do a combination scavenger hunt geocache.
Yeah.
Right.
We'll put a prize.
Yep.
you know, or something they can keep. Yeah.
Perfect. So those are good ideas. And I think the sooner we plan, at least what we have those ideas, then we can think about the story, then we can think about the geocache and, the treasure hunts and various things. Because that property is probably very well suited to support those.
Yeah, it's easy for a kid to hunt.
Yeah. Great. All right. Any other agenda items? Public comment. John, did anyone join us? Larry's on. Larry.
Larry, if you want to speak, you can raise your hand.
Nope.
Okay. All right.
Oh, you did.
Oh, there we go.
Nope.
Hands up.
Larry's hands up. Go ahead, Larry. We can see if we can hear you.
Well, I just want to say, keep up the good work.
Thank you, Larry.
Yeah.
Thanks for the introduction to getting Lynn with us here too. This is all very positive for us and for, I think, for the whole town.
You've just seen the tip of the iceberg so far.
Great. Oh, this is good stuff.
Don't over talk it, Larry.
No questions there, right?
All right, all right.
All right, with that, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn. Made by Dennis, seconded by Linda. Any further discussion? All those in favor of adjourning at 8:21, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? So voted.